everyone, it's Dr. Sandman. I hope that all of you are doing great. I'm doing the intro to this video separately because I'm doing this video with another person, but I feel humiliated every time I do my intro in front of other people, so I'm just doing that separately. So enjoy the video that I made with Julie. Hi everybody, I'm here with Julie, who is my friend and boss. She's in charge of if I get paid or not.
I promise he gets paid.
Thank you. Sometimes. One of my last videos, I did a little bit of a tour of the Luna edition of the Ethereal Visions deck, and I promised that Julie and I, because you had said yes at this point, I didn't just say this preemptively, that we would do like a little bit of a compare and contrast to see how much they've changed, if at all. Adding drama where there's no drama in the video.
This one's really been through it, so it's got less of a gilding like shine on it, but I promise it used to. And mine's pretty new, because this is a new deck in general, and I will say I didn't even notice this till today. It's already starting to, like, just a little bit, if you can see at the bottom, and I only kept it in my bag like this one time. I've been using it at home and being pretty gentle with it. And I just throw mine in my bag all the time. It's really been through it, so. Yeah, she's disgusting. So one of the first things that I want to say that I noticed in both of these decks, it's the same card. They did not change it. So I would like you to take out your Ace of Swords. What do you notice about the Ace of Swords? Yours is a hell of a lot shinier than mine.
Thank you.
Past that, really nothing at all.
He's holding it by the blade.
I mean, yeah. So
Does that not irk you more than words can say?
So let's see here. So the Ace of Swords, I feel like it speaks more to the possibility that a sword can cut you if you're not paying attention to it.
Yeah, I guess.
So like if you just fucking grab it, like you just go headstrong into a situation, you might end up getting hurt.
All right, I guess that's fine. Trying to be devil's advocate. I'm literally being devil's advocate. Look,
that's
look at this horrible design flaw.
That's what it's here for.
You have had a lot more experience with this deck than I have, even though there's like not that many differences, which there aren't that many, I've noticed, which is a problem. Yeah,
they literally made the deck to be different and have different ethnicities and different things that are being, I'm not having any words, different things represented.
Yes, absolutely.
Having lots of different things represented, and yeah, there definitely wasn't as much meaningful differences as I was expecting there to be.
Yeah, I looked at the book, the guidebook for my deck, and it said that after the original Ethereal Visions was released, a lot of people who really love the deck said, asked if he could re-release it or release something new with more diversity. So
understandably.
He heard directly from his consumers, people want this.
Absolutely.
And he did the Dreamscape Oracle first, and my impression with that is that it was to test the waters to see if people would actually pay for more diverse decks.
Absolutely, that would make sense, because they're looking through it just now. There was a lot of nice and different things in there that I definitely didn't see in the original Ethereal Visions. Yep. So yeah, that makes sense as a theory to me.
Yeah, and
Ethereal theory.
And then I kept reading, only 14 cards of a 78 card deck were changed. I will speak to his favor though, because I'm an artist. So the amount of time it takes to illustrate even one card is incredibly long. To his credit, redesigning cards takes time.
Absolutely.
But I do feel it's a little like grabbing for money, because he knew people were going to buy it, because that one was already popular. He knew people would pay for a new one with more diversity, and he didn't change that much.
Yeah, and what he did change, I feel like, wasn't all meaningful, and we'll go through that.
I will say there's one card that I think he shouldn't have changed, and we talked about this, the artist card. Yeah. Because it's very common for people who are artists first and into tarot second to make an artist or a maker card, and I feel like he might have designed that the character in that card after himself. Let me see if I can find it. I don't know what he looks like, so I don't even know if this is true, but he might have designed that card to look like himself, and if he did, it would have been odd if he changed the ethnicity. Yeah, that would have been like changing his own ethnicity. But you can see like how they're literally exactly the same, just a little different color palette. The holographic is different.
Yeah, more of like a silver rainbow instead of just the gold.
So here's the new Magician
versus the old.
And something that you pointed out to me when we first got the sample cards in, or when we looked online, that the magician is missing one or two of the suits in the minor arcana.
Yeah, the magician is meant to have all of the suits, showing that you have all the tools at your disposal. So to me, that's a really important part of the magician card, and seeing that it was just kind of left out was a little disheartening for this one particular.
Yours isn't missing it though,
no,
right?
No.
She's only got the sword down here, the pentacle right there. This could be a cup, but it doesn't match the other cups in the suit like that one does. And I don't see the wand anywhere unless I'm literally just looking past it. Somebody could point it out to me if I'm being dumb. But yeah, so she is missing a couple of the suits. Yep.
The world is a really fabulous card, you know, everything's in its place and where it should be, and the changes to this, I think, are it's a beautiful card still, and I think it's very representative of, like, Mother Gaia and the earth that way, but I feel like almost in order to have a different card, like, some artistry that could have been there was left out. Like, I think that one's gorgeous. She's sitting on top of the world. She's got the whole atmosphere around her. Like I said, very Mother Gaia. I just feel like more things could have been done to it to make it a more world traditional card.
Definitely. I didn't even notice that she's missing the 4 elemental representations. I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, thank you.
Wow.
But yeah, so that was something. I mean, I obviously love that he went for, you know, a more plus size model, because all of the women in the general Ethereal are pretty skinny. So I love that. I just feel like more thought could have been put into it.
I do also want to, like, say, because he changed so few cards, I feel like if you're going to, and it's great that he showed a wider range of body shapes, if you're going to, like, change so few cards, you should still change the ethnicity if the goal is to make it more diverse, because, and I think I said this in my last video where I just did a tour of this one, 50% white people and 50% people of color is not that diverse. And it's not even 50-50. It's like
it's
maybe 30%.
Yeah, it's a little more.
So this is just a little preference thing that I thought would have made the deck so cool. I noticed none of the decks had this. None of them have gilded edges.
Yeah. I wonder if that was because he knows how it wears, and that would be yet another thing to say, oh, my deck kind of starting to go to the crapper because its edges are wearing. I don't know.
Sleazy scammer. Matt Hughes, I'm talking to you.
I think it would have been a really great touch. I think it would have really brought something extra to it, but I do feel like it's just in a like lifetime viewpoint. It's kind of like that's just one more thing to get hurt.
Yeah. He has 2 versions of a tarot and an oracle, which we haven't even touched upon. Well, maybe a little bit, and none of them have the gilded edges. I just think that would, like, just bring them to, like, such a higher level. And if it's a little bit more, like, I'm gonna say it, this is like a fan favorite in the tarot community, so people are gonna pay a little bit more.
They would. I think that on the subject of the gilding, I think that some of the cards are so well gilded, and then some of them are so simplistic with it, so almost hesitant with it. Like the sea turtle you just showed, there's hardly anything on there. It's really just the border, where he could have gone in with the scales or the water or the stars. I'm gonna
show what he looks like. Isn't he so fun? I love him.
They're great cards.
I love that little man. But there's one that I specifically felt like could have definitely used gilding, and I think I edited it out when I reviewed it, but I paused and I looked because I was like, is there gilding there? And there wasn't. The octopus, he could have, like, gilded the rings around that, and there's one in here, the koi fish, where he does gild the scales. So I think that just would have brought that one so much to life, and again, it might have been an affordability issue.
I noticed with the star, that was another one that I appreciate the changes to, and I think, you know,
this one's so beautiful.
It's gorgeous. I love that there's even a little bit more representation for Judaism in there, because a lot of tarot things with the high priestess,
Oh yeah, definitely.
Come from like the Torah and things like that. So I love that the star is a little more Star of David shaped. But I do also still feel like some of the general aspects of the star card are missing in this one. She's supposed to have a foot on the water and a foot on the land, showing the connected between the two states of mind. And I feel like while the card is gorgeous,
this is one of my favorite cards in the deck.
It's beautiful. I do feel like there's, again, those more traditional aspects missing from it. Which this deck was not made to be traditional. It's got a lot of personality, and the booklet, actually, I don't know if the keywords and things are the same booklet to booklet, but the booklet itself at least has some really different things sometimes than other decks that I've seen, or the little tarot app that I use often has quite a different perspective. I'm not sure if this tends to be a little bit more gentle, or if that's just the way that I read. But it's not always a super harsh deck. It can be quite pleasant to read.
Oh yeah, definitely. But another thing I want to add is so I've never made a mass market tarot deck, so I don't know what that's like. So it could also be he was under a deadline and didn't have a choice, but to like just crank this out as fast as he could. But yeah, so there's a lot to consider with like, did he actually care to like make it an effective fortune reading tarot deck and include diversity, because I think that's like 2 or 3 cards now that we saw that he changed, where some of the really integral imagery is just lost.
Which is, you know, just fine for someone that's used to reading tarot, but for someone that's just learning or started with the Rider-Waite deck and is trying to branch out and is looking for some of the same elements card to card, I do think that it could be a hindrance.
So another thing is that this is not majorly changed, and so the 2 outer people here are people of color, in the center is a white person, and the original, it's 3
different colored hair.
Oh yeah, oh my gosh, oh, the diversity is rich in that card. So I should have done this before we started the video, but like I didn't look to see if in those 14 cards that he changed drastically, that he claimed to change drastically, if this was one, because if that's true, I don't think that counts, respectfully.
Minor change,
yeah, it's literally just barely changing the facial features, the hairstyles, and then recoloring, which was probably done digitally.
Yeah, very likely.
Yeah.
Again, beautiful cards, but did he really try?
Did he try? The title of this video, did Matt Hughes try hard enough? I also had a fun question or two. Do you have a favorite card in the deck, or a favorite few?
Yes. Yeah, easy peasy.
I have 3 favorites that I'm electing to show today.
Me too.
Oh, fun. It's uniform day.
It's uniform day.
We're same hair, same deck, same amount of favorites.
Only partially on purpose.
And we're both Virgos. So.
First of my favorites, I chose The Well. This is one of the 2 extra cards in the deck talking about creation and, you know, like the soul of the deck and the person reading and where everything comes from. And I just think it's so fabulous. The gilding there, she's holding the incense burner there, and it's just kind of, it's just so flowing to me. I love the style of it, and I love the meaning, and you know, I love the artist card, but for some reason The Well just speaks to me a little more. Maybe it's my womanhood.
Oh well. I'm gonna pick the King of Swords right here. This is one of the ones that was changed. Yeah. I'm gonna say it, like, the Native American community is so spiritual, and you never see them represented in tarot, like, literally ever.
That's what I was gonna say about the Oracle deck from him. There's some great Native American imagery from him. Oh, absolutely. Just to show you the difference between the 2 Kings of Swords. That is just really great, actually.
And I really like that, you know, the King of Swords, like, really having a domain over, like, your speech and, like, your thoughts, and being able to control how you respond, like, in the incense and in the smoke, and, like, it's so intentional, like the way this one was made. I think this one was a good effort.
Agreed. Next up,
that was one of my runners-up.
I have the Page of Cups. I think she's wonderful. I love her little fish friend in there giving her a little advice. I just think that this one is really fresh-faced and just like the start of her emotional journey.
That's you and Camden, because he's a Pisces.
I also have had that in the past. I think she's a really great page card specifically.
I don't know if this one's different from yours.
I'll check. I like that one.
So this is the Chariot. And oh my god, it's just so stunning. I think that the use of the... Oh, so it's not different. Okay. I think that the use of the gilding is just absolutely expert level, and I love how like the actual subject is like combined with the border. I think it was just like God, and like the sphinxes, like that harsh contrast between the black and the white. I just think every part about this, both in symbolism and just in artistic design, is just absolutely perfect.
That's a great card. My final favorite is a bit of a controversial one.
Of course, that's your
the devil card. The gilding on it is so balanced, and the artistry of it is beautiful. The symbolism of the kind of like stagnation of it, but kind of hiding behind the illusion of it, I think is just so representative. And my favorite part is the Ouroboros, the snake eating itself around the border of the devil.
And just for comparison.
That's so beautiful. So I think the people are more well defined on the newer one. Just in general, I think that the definition between the colors is more.
My last favorite is one we already talked about. It's the star. It's just God, it's hypnotizing to look at, both with the gilding and like the hollow eyes, and like what you said earlier, how like the Star of David bringing back the roots of Judaism and the tarot. I just really think it's a beautiful representation,
and the artistry of it too. You know, you always grow up in art school saying, you know, you have to make sure the eyes go around the whole card, and it is mesmerizing just going around the entire card, looking at every bit of it.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. Oh, I love her so much. Two cards I wanted to bring up because I wanted to know if they were different is the Hierophant.
Oh yes, so that's one of the ones that I'm not sure was a deeply meaningful change.
They changed this?
I'm so glad you brought this up. So I love this card. This is beautiful.
It's such a unique representation for the Hierophant.
It is. You would never think that anyone would do that for this.
Oh my god.
You would never think that would change from this to that.
That's a little insulting. He goes like, I'm gonna make a more diverse deck. So do you want to change this white man to like a more empowering like vision of somebody who's not well represented? No, night sky.
Yeah,
that'll
The Hierophant is actually, it's one of my birth tarot cards.
Nice.
So it's a little extra meaningful to me. Very institution and education based, tradition based, and this one, you know, the universe and things is it's the most traditional thing in the whole world. It's been there the longest.
I guess it makes sense in the sense that a lot of people really don't like the Hierophant card because it represents...
It's so masculine and so threatening and so traditional that it's closed-minded. And I get that. I totally get that. Especially
it's represented by like the priest and like the Pope.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people are just like, that doesn't vibe with me. So I get the removal of that, but I feel like there are ways you could interpret that in a figure or a person. It's just like hitting a wall artistically. Like it's so hard. Is it so hard to make a knowledgeable and traditional person of color? Like, I don't think it's difficult.
Yeah, that was one that shocked me when we were going through it, because it's very pretty. But did you really have to?
Another one I wanted to ask if it's different at all is the Four of Swords.
Yes, it
right?
is.
Yeah, the Four of Swords.
Yes, it is.
And there's something I would like to see if it's different for you, because okay, so to you, does this person look like they're laying down?
No. And
that's a very important
so the Four of Swords, at least, you know, mine really looks like a tomb in a mausoleum. Looks like the actual marble casket of a knight. And that, to me, just kind of looks like a knight.
Yeah. And it looks like they're... I guess it kind of works because, I didn't even notice that they have like an armored rose brooch or like a chrysanthemum brooch or something.
It's kind of cool.
Really interesting. So the original Rider-Waite-Smith depiction of the Four of Swords is depicting a knight's vigil, which is the first time that a squire, as he's becoming a knight, it's probably the only time a year that he took a bath, because he was cleansing himself spiritually and physically, and he lied awake all night doing his night's vigil. And that is just a period of waiting, and she is standing at attention, or at least it looks like it. I don't know if it looks like she's really laying down. So that kind of symbolism is lost as well.
Rest and meditation, the exhaustion or stagnation really speaks more to kind of being on one's back instead of the ability to kind of get up and go.
There's a potential that, like, that posture, because she has her hands over her sword, she's not drawing it, and her head is kind of tilted down, so it might be like as she's transitioning from squire to knight, but even so, that doesn't really represent like staying back and resting and kind of
waiting for your moment.
Well, I guess the real question is, did Matt Hughes girl boss too hard?
No such thing.
I also want to like point out, just I think I said in my last video, but I have to reaffirm it, that I love the choice for literally Beyonce as the Empress. I mean, if you want to represent femininity, luxury, abundance, like who else better than Beyonce?
That's the one to do it.
This video is sponsored by the Carters.
Tarot Carters.
That's why she's on the channel. The real final closing thought. Do you think, and you might not even have an answer, do you think that this was an earnest effort to make it more diverse and inclusive? Or do you think it was maybe not?
In my very judgmental opinion, because obviously I've never done this before, I've had many ideas for tarot decks, but I've never acted on any of them officially.
You should.
I know. But I think that more of an effort could have been put into it. I do. I think that the changes that were made are beautiful visually. I do think that for the heart of the tarot, I think that it could have been finessed a little bit more and really had a little bit more thought put into it, other than diversity try.
Yeah.
Emphasis on the try.
Yeah.
Beautiful deck. I'm sure it reads really nicely for an experienced reader, but for someone still trying to get used to the symbols that should be there. And I mean, we see more and more decks all the time that are completely non-traditional and don't have very much of the proper symbolism at all. But I do feel that the things that were taken away didn't have to be.
Yeah. I do also just want to add, like, just a last devil's advocate run, just is that we already talked about how long it takes to make a tarot deck. I just want to also add, like, because I just thought of this, like, how grueling that must be to do it again.
Oh,
like, after already having done it. Like, doing it at all is a large undergoing, takes a lot of time and labor to do that. But doing it again, trying to think of new ideas for how you as an artist want to depict it is probably also difficult. But don't get it twisted. I also think this was like a pretty poor attempt to make it more diverse and inclusive. But I do think that it is a really gorgeous deck, and I really do love it.
Oh no, it's great. Great work, but
great try. Thank you, Matt Hughes.
Much appreciated.
You'll be hearing from us. So thank you so much for being on the channel, Julie.
Thanks for having me.
It was really fun, and I'm glad we got to do this.
Me too.
Because I kept thinking, she's too cool for my YouTube channel. She'll never say yes.
I am not too cool for school.
Thank you guys so much for watching. Give it a like for Julie's sake. It's good for her ego. Women need validation, so. Thanks for watching. Bye.